Going on, guys? Today I wanted to cover the feats in Baldur's Gate 3, which ones are S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier. As you can see, it's motherfucking spreadsheet time. But we'll go through these real quick. I'm not gonna read each one. You can read for yourself. I'm just gonna tell you kind of why I feel like I gave it the rank that it deserves. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Rank. All right. So first and foremost, we have here is ability improvement. This is very vanilla, but this is probably where you're gonna get your most bang for your buck. Increasing 2 ability points so that, especially when you increase your main stat, let's say sorcerer, bard is charisma based, warlock as well. Then you have your wizard, which is int based, and your bard and your fighter, which are typically strength based. Um, every 2 points in stats will increase like your damage, your hit, spell save, spell hit, everything that governs your character in the game with that specific ability. Having an even attribute over 10, so 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, all the way up to 20 at the max, is like really, really good. It's without getting too much into it. Typically, what I aim for in each class, I try to get their main stat to 20 through either ability improvement here or some combination of another feat and or items, like good items that the character can have. So ability improvement is S tier. Maybe it might even be like number one. You can almost never go wrong with ability improvement. All right, so next on the list here we have actor. I gave it a C. Charisma +1 is meh. I'm like, you can get 2 charisma points. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's good for characters who don't have proficiency in deception or performance. The reason for the C is that deception and performance comes up a lot in the game. Deception comes up a lot in the game, especially in the speech dialogues and things like that. I haven't screwed around too much with performance. I haven't really gone down my bard route yet, but I can see this kind of taking actors kind of like a 50-50 kind of situation. Next up is alert. I gave it an A. You almost always go first, and it might seem redundant, especially with characters that have high initiative rolls, but the added bonus is that you can't be surprised. So if everyone misses their perception check and they're like walking through the woods with, don't know what the fuck's going on, that character can't be surprised and will go first in turn. Most of the time. So like, for example, in my playthrough right now, I have it on Asterion, and having him as an assassin rogue, they typically want to, stabby first. I think Gloomstalkers want to do that as well. They want to shoot first or whatever. So those are two classes, 2 builds that would really benefit from alert. But it's also good to have it on other characters. I think I have it also on my paladin as well, just so that Asterion and the paladin are there together, duking it out. Next up we have athlete. It increases your strength and dex by either one by 1. The big one here is your jump distance is increased by 50%. If you're min-maxing your movements every turn and really kind of getting into the shit, you're going to get really good at jumping, and jumping makes a big difference. So, jumping extra 50% is not bad. It's pretty good. It's nice. I give it a C, 50-50. It's just like the ability score improvement is just like, that's where it's at. Charger, it helps you to give you that extra distance to reach an enemy if you're a melee character. This is You really should just be able to move around the field well enough and jump. So when you jump in your turn, it typically allows you to move a little bit of a further than if you were to run. So chargers, just get good at jumping. That's all I can say about that. Crossbow expert. What is crossbow? I should make a crossbow attacks within melee range attack rolls do not have yeah, this sucks. Don't take this. You should not be in melee range if you're using a crossbow, especially if you're specializing in a crossbow. This is a waste of a feat. Elemental Adept. Is that the next one? Yeah, this is very situational. This is very, very specific. Oh, I skipped a bunch. Defensive Duelist. Where the fuck was I going? When attack with wielding a finesse weapon, so typically it's gonna be like your rogues, maybe a fighter. Is your reaction and proficient bonus to your armor class, possibly causing the attack to miss. The thing is, rogues kind of get this thing called Uncanny Dodge, so it's kind of redundant, and you can play around this as well. You don't really need this; it's kind of a waste. Dual wielder. This is kind of really only for a fighter, so this is very, very situational. You know, like maybe a ranger, maybe a dual wielding ranger, but again, ability score improvement. Dungeon Delver. This helps with perception. So if you're having perception issues, you don't have characters with high wisdom, you're always getting shanghaied from the bushes. This will help out. You get an advantage with perception checks and, you know, find shit better, find traps. You gain resistance to damage dealt by traps. This doesn't really happen. If you have like somebody who can disarm traps in the group, it's usually not a problem. It's very rare you run into a situation where you have 4 characters in a group and they all miss a trap. It's not typical. Durable. Your constitution's increased by 1 and maximum of 20. You regain full hit points each time you take a short rest. This is dumb. Do not take this. You can play around this. You don't want a constitution score increase typically, and then just get full hit points back at a what is it called? Full night's rest, long rest. Yeah, you don't need to get full. It's weird if you don't have that on every character in the group. That's just a weird feat to have. Don't pick that one. Elemental Adept. Now we're there. Specific builds. I give this a D. Your spells ignore resistance to damage of your choice. So this is for very specific builds that use a few spell types. So maybe like I don't know if force is one of them. I don't think it is. I think it's more like an element, like fire for like a sorcerer and lightning for maybe like a druid, but it's very specific. I just kind of skip over this one. Great Weapon Master. I give this one an A. Just a note with this one, this is heavy weapons only, so it has to be a heavy weapon, and you can deal additional 10 damage at a -5 attack penalty. When you land a critical hit on a target with a melee weapon attack, you can make another weapon attack as a bonus attack that turn, or kill a target. Yeah, that comes up a lot, actually. Typically, your heavy weapons expert. I can't do it. I'm fucking dumb. They're gonna be the one mowing down the people in the front line. So this is pretty good if they're in the shit. And then you can mitigate the -5 attack roll penalty with getting advantage in different ways and stuff like that, or you know. There's ways to mitigate it through buffs and things like that. So it's comes up more frequently than not. So this is a good feat to take. I like it a lot. A. It's good to have at least on one character, I think. One character using heavy weapons. Heavily armored. Your armor proficiencies with heavy armor and strength increased by 1, maximum of 20. This is F. You need to have medium armor proficiency in order to use this. You can just fucking work around this. You don't really need to have. The difference between medium armor and heavy armor, it's really not that much. Heavy Armor Master. Again, this is specific to this is specific to certain classes. Specific to specific classes. Increases your strength to max at 20. Incoming damage from non-magical attacks also decreased by 3 when you're wearing heavy armor. Big deal. At the end of the game, you're going to be at like 100 HP, so this is a waste too. Oh shit. All right, lightly armored. You gain armor proficiency with light armor. So you're gonna put this on someone who doesn't wear light armor, so it's like a spellcaster. So let's say your sorcerers and wizards and stuff. Gross. Just cast mage armor and move on with your life. Yeah, it's wasted. Lucky. We're on lucky now? Yeah, we're on lucky. So lucky. Oh, I can stop fucking moving this around. So lucky, you get 3 luck points. So this is in D&D in general and in Baldur's Gate 3. Lucky is fucking sweet. So what happens is you get to roll in a bit additional D20, 20-sided dice for offense. When you're gonna miss an attack, the game will pop up and be like, hey, you need a 14 to hit, you rolled an 8, do you want to use a lucky point to re-roll it? You say yes, and then most of the times you hit. Or you can use it on defense. You know, you failed a saving throw, you can re-roll that saving throw. You can also use this out of combat in speech dialogues. So, you know, you need to roll a 20 or better on a speech dialogue or something like that, and you really only can get up to 25 with all the bonuses that you have. With a lucky point, you can roll with advantage. You know, so lucky is awesome. I like it a lot. Probably one top tier, S tier. Mage Slayer. I ranked it a B. This is for very specific fights. I have this on Asterion, and it comes up every now and then. Asterion's a little bit squishy compared to some of my other fighters I've been running. So my group I've been running right now is Paladin, Oathbreaker, with Asterion as an assassin, Lae'zel as I forget what kind of champion fighter, and then Shadowheart as a cleric. So Asterion's the one that gets kind of, you know, like smushed and stuff, especially by casters. So having him be able to like stab stuff and have advantage on saving throws against casters and stuff when he's like right in their face and I don't want him to go anywhere, is good, but it's kind of oddly specific. It comes up less often than what you would think. So I kind of think in the future I won't take this, but I don't mind it. So I give it a B. Because when it does hit, when Mage Slayer goes off, you're fucking stabbing the shit. You have Asterion essentially stabbing people in cloth. Or people with cloth ACs if they don't have like a defensive spell up. Magic Initiative Bard, I gave it an F. This is for charisma-based characters. You get to, you know, a couple spells from the Bard class. No. Magic Initiative Cleric, wisdom-based characters. Again, this is F class, kind of sucks. There's not really much from the Cleric. Same thing with Druid, wisdom-based characters. They're all relatively the same, like across the board when you compare wisdom characters to wisdom characters and charisma characters to charisma characters. Magic Initiative Sorcerer, I give it a D. This one gets a little bit of an upgrade. This is for charisma-based characters. This gives you access to some low-level AoE spells, which I know for a fact that like Paladin lacks AoE. They don't have any. They just smite the shit out of stuff. So, it's a D. it's oddly specific for certain classes. Magic Initiative Warlock. This is probably the best out of the bunch. I give it a C. You can get Eldritch Blast Charisma for charisma characters. Eldritch Blast is probably the best cantrip in the game. It's not going to be juiced up like how a Warlock uses it, because a Warlock gets a juiced up Eldritch Blast. But it's a good option, because right now I use... On my Paladin, I'm using a crossbow for my ranged attacks, and I think if I had used Eldritch Blast throughout the game, it would have made a bigger difference, especially that force damage. Using force damage on stuff that requires force damage like walls and statues. It's nice to have in your back pocket. Magic Initiative Wizard. The only spell I could think you would really want here is Find Familiar. So you could have extra minion on the board. So I give this a D, not an F. Martial Adept. If you're gonna do this, this gives you superiority die to fuel them. This is fucking stupid. Just if you want fighter stuff, just take fighter for like, I think at the 3rd level they get access to superiority die, and you'll get more of them. So this is an F. Skip over that one. Medium Armor Master. If you want to be a stealthy fat boy, if you want to be a stealthy fat fuck in medium armor, you can do that. This gives you access to that. I mean, just use light armor. There's plenty of light armors that's comparable to medium armor. I know people might disagree with that, but you just gotta look. You just gotta look for the armor. Mobile, more movement on the battlefield is never a bad thing. What else does it do? Difficult terrain doesn't slow you down when you dash. That's usually you can just jump over shit. You don't provoke an opportunity of attack if you're moving away from a target. This is not too bad. If you kind of have to move your rogue around the field to do sneak attacks, like in order to activate sneak attack on a rogue, sometimes you need to have your enemy engaged with your ally. And you might have to disengage and run over. I know rogues are kind of squishy, so mobile's not too bad. There's a lot of items in the game that give you additional movement speed. So it's kind of a B. It's kind of like a middle of the road. I don't hate it if you have it, and if you don't have it, it's like, it's not a big deal, you know? Moderately armored, I gave it a D. You have high proficiency. You have to have proficiency in light armor. And this is also pretty situational. I mean, all the armor stuff is kind of eh. Performer. I don't know why this is a feat. This is an F. This might be below F. Bards just naturally have this. You could usually you perform to distract enemies, but just split your group and talk to the NPC so he's facing one direction, and have your stealthy sneaky boy go in the back the other way. You know, just you can do it that way. You don't even have to perform. So it's like, but maybe I'm missing something with the bard. I don't know. Maybe it's over my head. Pole arm master. So the really good thing about this is that when an enemy comes into your range, and the nice thing about pole arms are they're 10-foot range, so you have a pretty sick, you know, like you have an extended range. You'll get an opportunity to attack with your reaction, right? I don't even know if it's your reaction. The butt, when you butt with a bonus action, that's whatever. They don't fucking do anything. That's only some bosses, not bosses, enemies in the game require like multiple hits, so having the butt strike is okay, but I think the opportunity attack when the enemy comes in range is pretty sweet. So resilient, I give a D. Dex, or you want to use this for Dex or Wisdom saving throws, because that's how typically most enemies' attacks hit you. So like if they throw a fireball at you, that's a Dex save. If they cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which immobilizes you with laughter, that's a Wisdom save. So typically those are the ones you want to pick if you do pick it. I wrote aid allies or cleric. Increase ability 1, maximum 20, gain proficiency in the ability set. Yeah, I don't know. It's me. Ritual caster, I give a B. This is good. This gives you access to like the utility spells, and it doesn't eat up spell slots, so you can speak with the dead, speak with animals. This is fun. This is like a, you know, speak with the dead and speak with animals. If you haven't done a playthrough with those things, I highly recommend it. It's good fun, and it gives you more information about the game and like leads you down different pathways to quests, and it's pretty funny. Talking to some of the animals, it's really funny. It's for the lulz. Savage attacker, I give a C. You reroll damage die melee This also counts for paladin smites. It's good on a paladin. Like, I'd probably rank it A or B for a paladin, but for other classes, it's probably like a C. You kind of have to think about like your damage dice when you roll it, right? So you're rolling like at the biggest die, you're rolling like a 1d12. On average, you're gonna roll a 6, and if you re-roll it, you're gonna roll a 6. On average. But I forget, statistically, you're gonna roll an 8 if you re-roll one of the dice. If you roll 2 dice. If you roll 2d12s, statistically, I think normally you're gonna average an 8 or something like that. I don't know. Which is like 2 more points of damage. I don't know. I think you can feel it when you use it, especially on characters that hit pretty hard, but I don't know. I don't even run this on my paladin. So then that's really where it shines, because it rerolls the smite damage. So if you're running a paladin, I'd highly suggest this one, but other classes, it's probably going to be a pass. Sentinel. Sentinel's fucking sweet. It comes up a lot. Actually, Sentinel comes up a ton, because I think the easiest way in this game to fight enemies is to focus fire down an enemy. So if you're running, especially if you're running like a rogue or 2 melee characters, having one character with Sentinel, they're triggered for the opportunity attack or whatever, comes up a lot. And usually it's a big swing, because the Sentinel character is probably either dual wielding or has a 2-handed weapon. So the ability to hit them, and then it locks them down, right? Yeah, it can't move for the rest of the turn. So if they're trying to run out of range and go towards your squishies, your mage or your healer or whatever, your backline casters, shooters, it locks them down. So yeah, Sentinel is really good. I'd almost give Sentinel an S, but I think, what did I give? Lucky and ability score? It's right underneath those. I think it's right underneath those. Sharpshooter, I'm gonna give it a C. It's pretty situational. This is kind of like what was the other one? It's almost like the attacking one, but this is for like ranged. It's like You deal extra damage. You can put yourself in situations where you have advantage to mitigate that -5 damage on the attack roll for the extra damage, especially rogues. But it's you just mitigate the high ground rules by being on high ground, and if you're in a ship position, try to get in a better position, I guess. Shield Master, again, this is a very situational. For tanking, it's okay. Like, you're gonna take less damage from spells, but just play better. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to take this feat. This is like if you really wanted to like tank, you know, in the spells and all that shit. Typically, you just want to spread your characters out so you don't get AoE'd. That's pretty much it. Like, you don't really need Shield Master. Skilled is another D. This is primarily for picking up skills if you don't have in your party. So you have like a lopsided party that doesn't have any dialogue or lockpicking abilities, you might want to give this a go on one of your characters. Spell Sniper. You learn a cantrip and you get about 5% crit. This is a D. 5% crit is not bad. And the cantrip is whatever. But doesn't really matter. And some spells, they're not to hit. They're, you know, like wisdom saving throws or whatever. So like Spell Sniper's not gonna apply to those kinds of things. So I give it a D. Tavern Brawler. This is an F. This is primarily just for barbarians. You know, barbarian lulz. So it's an F. Tough is a D. You get 2 hit points for every level you've gained. I think the max level is 12, so 24 hit points at max level. You could just put it into fucking Constitution. You're better off putting it into 2 points into Constitution or having even Constitution score than this. So that's a D. Warcaster is an S. I think this is, yeah, this is top 3. Keep concentration spells up and Shocking Grasp. You can Shocking Grasp a target moving out of melee range. This comes up a lot. And it's very good against constructs. Wink, wink. So, Warcast is real good. I have this on. I actually don't have a spellcaster, like a spell slinger, right now, so I don't have like a sorcerer or warlock or a mage. But I have this on the cleric. It is fucking good. The cleric, you know, either maintaining buffs, concentration on buffs, or maintaining concentration on spirit guardians or whatever battlefield damage thing you lay down. Having like advantage on concentration saves on that is so fucking good. And sometimes you get hit multiple times in a turn, and it's just like, yeah, no problem, still up. And being able to save a high level spell concentration, you're like saving spell slots if you don't lose concentration on those, you know? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No regrets. No regrets. And the Shocking Grasp actually comes into play a lot. And the last one we got here is Weapon Master. You gain proficiency with 4 weapons of your choice. This is a wasted feat. You can usually pick this from your race. Character creation, you don't need to pick a feat. You fuck around with this. Let me zoom out a little bit on this so you can see the entire list. You know, it gets real with the... Whoop. I don't know if I can zoom out and you can still see everything. Maybe not. But our S tier ones are ability improvement. This is the cream of the crop. Lucky ability again. Ability improvement's good. You know, it governs basically how your character plays. So when you increase your ability improvement, especially in your character's primary stat, either dexterity, wisdom, or charisma, you're gonna notice. You notice a change. Trust me. Lucky. Where did Lucky go? Oh, my scroll is weird. Lucky is the other S tier one. You gain 3 luck points. This is great for, you know, like those oh shit moments. Like I need to kill this dude right now, and you would have missed, but you use a lucky point, you can hit. Or I have 1 HP, and if I get hit with this spell, I'm fucked. You can use that to save. You know, save on spell throws. Anything, dialogue, ability checks, fucking anything. It's great. It's great. And the last S tier that I recommend is Warcaster. Being able to have advantage on saving throws while maintaining a concentration spell is tits. And they put a little whipped cream on it with the Shocking Grasp. You can cast Shocking Grasp without expending a spell slot on a target moving out of melee range. It's a cantrip anyways, but yeah. So there you go, guys. I hope that helps. Sorry this ran a little bit long. I kind of wanted to go through a little bit quicker, but you know, it is what it is. Come check me out. I stream on Twitch, YouTube pretty frequently. I'm going to be playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, Diablo 4, and maybe some Path of Exile. I need to check out the new Path of Exile season, but have a good night. Stay safe. Peace and chicken grease. Thanks. Bye.